is one of the best, if not the best, going up and getting the football.
They'll go with a toss out here early on. Greg Bell, stellar first year with the Tiger Cats, and he'll pick up a couple of yards in that spot. But to your point, Lawler, you got Shamar Bridges back. And Delitre crosses the formation here as Mitchell hands it off inside. Thought about pulling and looking to the outside, but they'll pound it up in between.
You know that little seam right down the outside part of the hash? Nobody in that space. You just got to locate the football.
17-yard field goal is good, and the Tiger Cats on the board first as Mark Leggio knocks through his first points of the season.
I thought he played great in the Grey Cup. He's going to have to help this Argos team early here.
Handed off inside to give it to Deontay McMahon, getting his first touch, and that's close to a first down. Looks like it'll just be shy.
To run the organization and be their starter.
On 2nd and 1, handed off inside. Deontay McMahon running hard through contact as they cross the 55 and already into Hamilton territory, but McMahon
really good making sure he kept playing football.
Nick Constantino will hang this one up into the Hamilton wind, and there's Janarian Grant. He can go anywhere, anytime. Preseason, postseason, regular season, and this time he goes backwards. And a big tackle down the field made after a 47-yard punt. Thank you, Matthew, as Nick Arbuckle stands in on a little play fake to Deontay McMahon. Now flings his sidearm, and David Unger makes the catch up at the 40 and wrangled down at the 42-yard line. But Arbuckle makes enough plays like that, and he's going to, no question, start the season as the starter.
Be first in the Canadian Football League in scoring. Marshall, hats off to what they did from a coaching staff perspective last year.
28.6 points per game for the Argonauts through all that adversity. Is now Dejon Brissett. Caught a touchdown in the Grey Cup. Gets his first touch here, sliding down in front of that Toronto bench, but all the way up at the Hamilton 50-yard line.
So that's how you make a team when you're a young football player.
Emptied out for Arbuckle here on first down. Is quick release. And once again, complete to Derek Sluka as he continues to add to his tally. He's actually listed as the 4th string, and it was almost with the Argonauts. Couldn't get the contract worked out. Ends up here in Hamilton after leaving Calgary after last season. Disappointing for the Stamps. He's going backwards here. Devontae Coxie trying to find a way out of this mess, and Hamilton's defense rallies. He goes backwards on 2nd and 1.
To put ourselves in a situation where we can really make it easier on the quarterback.
First time here, we've seen a little bit of Keandre Smith, Brendan O'Leary-Orange into the game, Shamar Bridges in as well, but this one goes to a name that you'll expect to have plenty of his name called throughout the year. Once again, Kenny Lawler.
Don't give up a free first down here.
Coachable moment right there as Toronto sends the blitz. Bo over the middle, Kenny Lawler, and held on to it. Smack at the end of that play, laid down by Darius Bratton coming over from the Edmonton Elks, but Lawler
showed me clips and said, you got to play better.
Nick Arbuckle after the turnover on downs, rips it outside. Perfect throw from Arbuckle, and Deontay McMahon refusing to go out of bounds. Takes a couple of tacklers to push him out up and about the, to say, like 5'8", 185, and just every play it seems like he's dropping the shoulder and fighting for more. As again, Hamilton comes to the blitz. Arbuckle gets rid of it. Dejon Brissett across the 50, bounces off a 2nd and a 3rd tackler, and Casey sails all the way back from his defensive line spot.
Extra yardage.
I think McMahon just did the old, sometimes it's there to be a speed bump and a stop sign on the block, is now perfectly timed throw and slashing through coverage. And it's Herji Mayala.
Keeping them on the field.
MVP looks like mid-season form somehow here in the first preseason game as he flips it underneath. And a big collision that time. Did the ball pop out as well as Coxie was the one who hauled it in. Ryan Hunter trying to dig it out, but for now, that was laid. And so Bo Levi Mitchell gets possession back after turnover on downs in the last possession. Keandre Smith makes the grab here, spins away from Jack Cassar. Lots of motion for him as you see on this play as well. They'll hand it off. Bell thought about going down the middle, found some breathing room, and slashes his way to the 39-yard line. As a first down for the Hamilton Tiger Cats, who have had many changes.
And get better.
As again, the running game for the Tiger Cats churning out the yards.
And one of the guys that we didn't get a chance to talk about right there is Big 66, Liam Dobson. Understand what he's trying to build here.
Augustine just got his first touch of the ballgame. Now he gets his second and running hard across the 50. Augustine 2 for 2. One of those former Bombers and pushed out of bounds. And 6 years with Winnipeg, 5 of those 6. He had never less than 25 carries, never more than 65. He was the model of consistency as the number 2.
Watch him recognize coverage, bounces it outside. So what the defense collapsed on the perimeter. You don't have any contain. Really good recognition by him. Recognize it. It's not boring. Never boring.
Argo 1 for 1 so far. And thrashes this one through the uprights.
They step back and say, I got the protection, and it draws the penalty.
Blitz coming again here on first down. Arbuckle gets rid of it. And it looks like Hergy Mayala spinning his way down. Tackled by DQ Thomas, working at that weak side linebacker spot, number 20 in the black and gold. Get more information as time goes on, but a frustrating one for Toronto to set the tone as Tim White makes the grab here. It looks like that'll be good enough for a first down.
Hopefully he's okay and can continue to play this season.
Mitchell rolls to his right, looks downfield, and scramble rules are on like a walk in the park. Mitchell to Lawler. Again, you really get the sense that Lawler and Mitchell are on the same page with just about everything right now, which is crazy because they haven't played together before. But I mean, whether it be timing routes or... Mitchell hands it off. Greg Bell, jump cut again. Strong part of his game, picks up the first down on 2nd and 3. So playbook wide open inside 5 minutes remaining in this first half.
He should have the ability to stay up, so that draws the penalty.
Well, Hamilton sends the blitz right into the face of Cam Dukes this time, and they go back to Anderson, who they were trying to get it to on the first rep. As he steps out of bounds, they'll call it around the 51-yard line. 23-yard punt, so Bo Levi Mitchell stays in the game despite Arbuckle being out. As the starter on the other side, hands it off once again. Greg Bell gets his 7th carry of the ball game. That one goes for 8. See Lanier signaling around in that defensive line for the Argonauts, trying to get everybody set, but on 2nd and 3, Bell continues to churn the legs, driving forward until he's brought down by Greg Reeves, number 99, in the middle for that Argonauts defense here tonight. No touchdowns scored as of yet for either of these sides. Mitchell tons of time now, and he'll check it down underneath. Greg Bell will do the rest, looking for the sideline. And where did he get to? Up around the 50. Bo Levi Mitchell going back to McMahon to kick things off against Vernon Adams Jr. in the new look stance. As Dukes again using the legs, dives his way forward, gives himself up just across the 30.
2nd and short, they're going to go a quick wedge with tempo so they can conserve as much time as possible so they can get back up with 59 seconds so they can...
Plenty of playing time for both Bo and Greg Bell. We'll see how long they stay in the game here as the offensive line units continue to roll through. But Tim White at full speed, now turning back into traffic, and Tim gets walloped.
We start changing over who's playing in these preseason games.
You can hear the beats per minute on the heart rate of Zorn from up here is now cutting it back into the open field and bouncing off tacklers. It's a big run for number 28. We thought we'd say his name lots. 26 yards now.
Really good bounce. This is a player that John Murphy talked about and said he is a talented football player. We expect great things from him. He was injured last year in his season and should have been, they thought he would have been a combine invite and then was going to be drafted, but had some injuries, kind of forced him in a situation where he did not get those opportunities. But I know they like this player a lot. And if I go back to talking about the execution, so what happens as a coach here?
Looks to his right-hand side, goes to the one-on-one matchup down the right rail, and it will be hauled in. A nice throw by Tucker Horn on the outside.
One receiver over here, there's 4 over there. He takes the matchup over to his right when he sees the safety move to the left, throws the ball on the outside to Shane Hooks. Nice throw, puts him at the 4-yard line. Great position, great read, great throw.
Touchdown. It doesn't go pull a cell phone from underneath the center stage. I'm going to be real upset. There's an inside handoff, Williams, touchdown. And the Argonauts on the board for the first time in this ball game with their 3rd-string quarterback.
And that's what usually happens. You get a big explosive play, Marshall, that flips the field, puts you inside the 5-yard line. You're always going to get plenty of opportunities.
Ohio State University, they've never made any good running backs to Ohio State, right? That's not a school that gets a lot of those. And here is Mayan Williams into the end zone for the first time in the CFL.
Well, I did ask personnel person for Toronto Argonauts, Jonathan Murphy.
And I love that slow-mo shot from our crew, too, because you can just see the ability to track the ball in the air, over his shoulder, leaning sideways. Special stuff from Waller as Mitchell rolls to his right, pumps. Oh, Bo's going to show off the preseason wheels and slides down as a flag comes up in behind.
I need to scramble a little bit more, and looks like he's starting to learn how to do that there.
Former quarterback Brian Dinwiddie not appreciating that one. He thought the effort was clean, but the penalty yardage marked off and back into the hands.
Trying to work on that situational football.
Mitchell looks right the whole way. Rips this one flat-footed. It's caught by Keandre Smith, and he has to earn that rutledge. Right there is the first contact also made by Istvan Asabo-Dadzi, draft pick out of Windsor. Free safety, playing some receiver earlier. Back to the short yardage package. And Litre plunges his way forward as Derek Sluke. You don't often get to see the old...
Not often, no. Be a 95% chance of...
Litre's in motion, but he's not the short yardage quarterback here. They'll just reverse pivot and hand it off. Little inside zone. How about that? A real football play from the 1-yard line.
Yes, excellent. Excellent. Blocking up front. 1-yard line. You know, again, this is the time of year you want to work on some of your gap schemes and your run plays. You're at the 1-yard line, let's work it. We're going to see, I believe. Well, I agree. Maybe they're working on things because, yes, when the ball's at the 1-yard line, you usually don't hand it backwards.
So for 2 here, Mitchell. Nice. Looks right.
Nice catch.
Rips it left, and Kenny Lawler picks it off the turf for 2. So after no touchdowns in the opening half of action, all of a sudden,
they are the group that always are the ones that are spectacular at making sure that they're the best friends. They spend time together on the road. They go have dinner together. An outstanding job. Second best rushing team in the Canadian football last year. And 121 yards a game.
Up the middle once again for Mayan Williams. So I was about to say the kind of legacy role like Chris Van Zyl, who held that down for so long in the offensive line. It was like extra offensive lineman in here for Toronto. And they'll hand it off, trying to make his way to the left-hand side.
Nice run.
What a fight that time by Mayan Williams. And you say nice run immediately, Lapo. Just the power and the ability to turn it north-south. Natural athlete is Tucker Horn on second down and 6. Screens it inside once again. Some blockers out in front. And a big hit as Williams gets popped that time.
And this is what I was...
second.
McMaster people. I just don't like Marshall.
You're not alone. There's another quick throw out, but Owen Hubert's brother Silas as well out of Queens getting drafted this year goes to Edmonton. And
now you can look at these guys. Hey, how did that guy pull on the screen pass? Did he do what we asked him to do? Quarterback make the right read. You can go through all the scenarios you need and evaluate players, and that's what this job is. Easy day. They'll continue to build and figure out. I like the no huddle they did with Bo. You got a veteran like that, why not do some...
Just kind of throws a bit of a stinker to get things going. It really hurts the momentum of the season. Doesn't feel like Bo had any of that in his game tonight. He's got Powell whipping it down the field. And it'll be just shy. Maybe they'll spot it up. Yep, they will at the 50. You know, it's complete to Odu Hilaire.
If we have an update on Reggie Stubblefield, so I did sneak over, the intrepid reporter that I am, to talk to Reggie Stubblefield, and he said this week he's going to Montreal to be evaluated for that ACL injury that he suffered in June of last year. And typically, guys, we know that ACL injuries can take up to a year to be fully healed, and he will get a sense of whether or not he's going to start the season on the 1 game.
And a couple of tackles, special teams tackle, and then onto the 6-game list for the remainder of the year. So free agent, and Hamilton wants to see him in a uniform sooner rather than later, and we will watch for that one closely as we inch towards. Just had to do a double check when I saw 82 out there. Yes, that is Drew Wolotarski not wearing Winnipeg colors. He is in black and gold here in Hamilton as Powell fires this one in underneath, and on cue, 82. He can play anywhere he wants in this town. And his inside run and off to the races.
There you go, Ward, making your plays. is just going to be working to our left of the screen. Obviously a misalignment by one of the linebackers to open up that gap.
Aaron Mitchell into the ball game in behind Tucker Horn. Chases it down from the backside. There's Knight. You talk again about
another play, yeah.
I mean, the speed he's
had a great
playing
night.
with. So Powell back at the controls for Hamilton's offense. Hands off the stretch run outside, and why not give it right back to Ward after his 45-yard touchdown run. And so Hardison in short yardage as they see whether or not he's got the right stuff to steal Antti Litre's job away as the short yardage quarterback. 17 and 34 on the evening. Successful season last year as well. There's a lot of guys that were already on this roster who used to play in Winnipeg before taking years. He kind of showed up and he's like, oh yeah, I know you. I already had you a couple years ago.
Football numbers? You don't have enough numbers for all these guys. You have 2 sets of numbers sometimes.
Another completion here. Herschel gets rewarded for his special teams knowledge with a grab.
Really good execution there, that.
There's another completion underneath. And Tucker.
You know, say you're on the road in a preseason game, you don't really like taking your veterans to a game.
Yeah.
Because they're not going to play long.
Oh, big hit right down the pipe as Patrick Burke Jr. stepped in, but it's held on. Kind of top 10 notes, if you will, coming out of this game between these two rivals as Jaron Mitchell gets a little bit of breathing room on the outside, turns the corner, puts down the shoulder, and gets pushed out of bounds at about the 15-yard line.
Get half of it and then one shot for the end zone.
As they do run some curls and ins, and Horn will roll to the right, doing the math in his head. Can he run? Should he throw? Checks it down underneath. Nice, smart, safe play. And inside the 5 goes Toronto. Aaron Mitchell in the backfield. Hamilton defense floating around. They'll blitz all over the place. Underneath, touchdown Argonauts. And Jake Herschel into the end zone. As Tucker Horn able to lead Toronto down the field late. As time expiring, 11 plays 98 yards in just 90 seconds. And had to earn every bit of it.
Drifting away from the extra player. A little bit of a rub concept at the goal line. You know you're going to have man coverage. So what do? You run.
Now they'll go for 2. Why not? Get the extra rep in. They go back up top to Demas. And 2 for 2 is Mac Benetime trying to stake his claim to a roster spot, as so many players did here tonight.